Hey, Wade, are you surfing the net? Is that what you're doing?
No. I saw this lawsuit on some of my research here, and I had to see what it said. We'll talk about that in a second, but I had to look it up online, the wonders of Google. So now I've got a computer here I'm holding. I'm all over the place.
Just unplug that cord.
There we go. All right, so
there you go.
Let's talk about judges, lawyers, and motorists. We talked about motorists and coffee clerks behaving badly. Let's talk a little bit about judges and lawyers before I drop your computer. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we're gonna stand by on the aquarium thing.
We are,
okay.
Yes. We're gonna bring that in.
We need to research
some levity
more,
here. So anyway, and I try not to. I try to be real general sometimes. Like we try not to identify people personally.
Right.
But stuff like that.
But the law applies to every situation and everything.
With you.
So it's all relative.
So let's talk about lawyers behaving badly, because I think the one thing that I've always known is that in business, there's a principle that you can't control what any one person does, but you can control what a group of people do.
Right.
And what that basically means is is that if you are going to have a business interaction with one person, people can be rational or irrational. They can be fast decision makers or slow decision makers, but you never know what they're going to do. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you get 100 people and you give them the same, business opportunity in terms of whatever it is, I don't care if you're selling them goldfish or whatever, it doesn't matter. Then from experience that a certain number of them are going to buy something from you, right?
Right.
Well, that principle, that marketplace principle, also counts for human behavior. So I always say, there's 300 million people in the United States. Someone's going to strap a rocket booster to their car, right? So you have all these lawyers in the United States, all these judges in the United States, and there's so many of them that, of course, some of them are going to get a little hanky in the way that they act. So I'll give you an example. There was a public defender, and it's well known what happened is that they had this client, and they wanted to get the client out. Okay, and the client was going to be released, but there was some issue where the judge had left early or something like that, and everyone knew that the judge was going to grant the order to let this person out, basically. Okay? And so because everyone knew that, instead of waiting until Monday, this attorney fabricated an order from the judge to get the person out. Right? Because it's one of those things where you're so comfortable, and I'm not excusing it at all. It was the dumbest thing in the history of time to do. Because first of all, it's all the judge has to do is look at it and be like, I didn't sign this. I was not even in the courthouse on that day or whatever. And so people sometimes lose their way in two ways. One, they get super comfortable with what they're doing because they've been doing it for so long and they know how things work. And two is that they want to win or they want to get stuff done in contravention of the rules. Okay, I think I just mispronounced and made up a word right there. Again, Wade Beyond the Courtroom, contravention.
Well, what is the penalty for that?
Well, you can get
obviously forgery.
Yeah, you can get arrested criminally and disbarred.
Probably a perjury thing in there somewhere too.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be just lawyers behaving badly, and illegally. Judges sometimes do too. There was this judge in Dallas, okay? And, I'm in front courts every day, and I see, everybody be real rude to everybody. But there was this pregnant prosecutor who was 8 months pregnant, okay?
Yeah.
And, she was specially assigned to this case, and the judge wanted this trial to go forward because judges get very excitable about their calendars, okay? Sure. And so there's also time limits that are in place for statutory time limits for things to go to trial on time. And so there's all these, judges want their cases to move, and they want them to move fast and off their calendar. They hate defense attorneys like me coming in there and stretching them out and always, asking for continuances because the dog ate my homework or whatever reason that we gave to be continued. But this judge with this prosecutor ordered the bailiff to handcuff this pregnant prosecutor to the desk to keep her from leaving the courthouse.
Wow.
And so, people get a little crazy sometimes, and sometimes crazy people are judges. And so I find these stories kind of funny, and they're interesting for people because there is this idea that judges and lawyers and prosecutors and defense attorneys are these monolithic professionals that are these wheels of justice, and you see the lady of justice with a blindfold,
right? And
that they just work perfectly every single time, and nothing could be more opposite from the truth. And so I always try to counsel people, if there is any way to avoid the legal system, either in a civil case or in a criminal case, you avoid it at all costs, because when you go into those situations, you have no idea what's going to happen. Another example is this Deflategate thing that Tom Brady's Tom Brady's suspension got overturned by this federal judge in Manhattan, right? The reason why, in that case, the NFL actually did a venue move to I think they filed first so that they could decide which judge they were going to get, right? Or at least which courthouse, because then once you get the courthouse, it's kind of Judge Roulette. And they had decided that Manhattan was a better place to file, and I think the Players Union always files in some place like Minnesota or something like that, right? But anyway, so the NFL got exactly what they wanted, and they actually, they got the venue that they wanted, but they still lost, and the reason is that you can't control what any one person does. And so, Roger Goodell has egg on his face now, and they should have settled in some way to avoid that, but they said, nope, we're going to go through the criminal or the legal system, not the criminal justice system, but the legal system, because we think we can win. And now it didn't turn out the way that they wanted it to.
Can they appeal that again? Or
they
no?
can appeal, yes, but it doesn't.
But will they?
Yes, I'm sure they will, but it doesn't matter because Tom Brady is vindicated and his legacy is at least protected to some degree, and it's the PR battle is lost.
I think if the NFL appeals it, it'll be better on their part.
Right. Well, the Players Union would have appealed, but Tom Brady would have been sitting out a suspension at that point. You know what I'm saying? And so then, once game, listen, my fantasy football draft is on Tuesday. Wish me luck. I don't want to make any mistakes.
I wish you will, sir.
Right. My plan is to take 2 kickers, round 1, round 2. No, that's not a good plan. If you knew anything about fantasy football, that's a terrible plan. Anyway, but the optics are so bad for the NFL now. And we're going to actually talk about Deflategate next week. We're going to have a Professor Joseph Master-Simone on the show.
Oh, good.
Again, to talk more. He's our resident labor law guy. So we're going to talk more about that next week. But the point is that even when you think you're going to win or you've got a good situation, you can encounter a judge that's going to order you handcuffed to the desk to make you continue. Things like that.
It's so wrong.
A judge can have a bad day. I've seen a totally normal judge that I've been in front of every week or once or twice a month for like 5 years, just totally come in one day and lose their mind.
I'll give you an example. My wife Chris works in an arraignment court. Mm-hmm. I won't say where, but one of the biggest pet peeves in that court is the cell phone thing. Oh yeah, and he will snap.
Yeah,
he will snap, and your phone will be confiscated, or you'll be thrown out.
Well, I understand that because, in those arraignment courts, they go through 50 or 60. Yeah. If everybody's phone is on and everything's going crazy, it just slows everything down and nothing gets done. When you do that day after day after day, I don't know how those judges do it. I honestly think that being a judge in an arraignment court would be like the most boring thing in the history of time. Mostly because you have to deal with defense lawyers like me coming in there and saying the dog ate my homework. Yeah. What am I going to do? So
don't handcuff me, please.
But people don't. When people get in the criminal justice system, they think that they're the only person in the world that's going through the system, and
it's so that tunnel vision thing. Yeah,
they expect this uniform outcome, and so sometimes you get these judges who have a bad day and decide they're going to throw you in bucket you, which means put you in jail for no reason, but for a relatively minor reason, which I've seen happen too.
Exactly.
So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit about more about judges and lawyers behaving badly, but also a Petco goldfish story.
Ugh.
You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220. Welcome back, Santa Clarita. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. I'm attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade, Beyond the Courtroom, where law and culture meet. So let's get into this goldfish story. So this is off. We're calling an audible. That's a football plan. I had we're going to talk. I'm throwing away this. I'll tell you what the story was, though. It was lawyer charged with contempt. Which one would we rather talk about? Lawyer charged with contempt after allegedly lying to client to persuade him to take a plea deal. That's option 1, Mike.
Yeah.
Or option number 2. Petco won't sell goldfish to Persians on spring equinox, lawsuit says.
I
think we're going to go with number 2.
Okay.
Let's find out why Petco won't sell goldfish to Persians on the spring equinox. So, this is... So, first of all right, this stuff drives me crazy, okay? So this man went to a guy by the name of Sam Mojabi went to the Petco store in Camarillo, okay, to buy a goldfish for. Now I apologize if I mispronounce this. I want to be very respectful for Nowruz, the Persian New Year. Okay, so and Petco asked him. They said, "Are you of Persian descent?" And so the guy he said in the affirmative or whatever, and so. Petco refuses to sell this store refused to sell them because it says Petco's refusal to sell goldfish to Persians may have arisen from a mistaken belief that people intend to kill the fish, the attorney says. And that's not true. The part of it is that the fish represents Pisces, which the sun leaves at the end of the astral year, and you want the goldfish to live a long time. So I'm not saying the insanity is. I am very respectful for another person's culture and the new year and tradition and all that. What I think is hilarious is that Petco sells goldfish to parents who intend to put them in the care of like 7-year-olds.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? like Petfish sells goldfish to people who feed them to like saltwater fish.
I mean, we all saw Finding Nemo.
What manager thought that this was a good idea, especially in today's climate where we're so incredibly sensitive to everything? But this is actually, normally on political correctness and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, this is not really a big deal. But this is insanity. So what were they thinking?
So this was one location. Was there a corporate response to this at all?
It makes it sound like it was some kind of like it was actual like some kind of like managerial decision. I don't know if it's this one store or whatever, but I mean, give me a break, Petco. So let's talk about Petco behaving badly.
Yeah,
because I'm at loss for words, which is always good for a radio show.
Yeah, that's profiling, number one.
Well, and the other thing too,
it's also if the manager himself made that decision without that's bad on him.
Well, maybe it's like this is where PETA and political correctness meet or something. Maybe PETA was like, don't sell to Persians. Well, and what is it in this to be respectful? The term Persian is very broad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I would think, does that encompass the entire Middle East? Is it anyway? So I saw that, and just that the title "Petco won't sell goldfish to Persians on spring equinox" seems like it's an Onion article.
It does, yeah. First thing I thought was Onion or BuzzFeed.
So Petco's going to lose.
Oh, Petco's going to get big time on this.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in today's climate. So we are pro Persians being able to buy. I just want to be clear.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we're pro Persians being able to buy goldfish on the spring equinox.
It's kind of like the thing where pet stores won't sell black cats on Halloween.
Is that true?
I'm not sure if it is, but I mean,
it would seem like it should be, right?
There is this urban legend that a lot of black cats go missing right around the end of October. So,
but this isn't an urban myth,
no.
Michael.
Well, this actually happened.
This is Petco.
This is an LA Times article.
Petco behaving badly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hope this
shame on them.
I hope this is an actual real article and not an Onion article, but it seems to be legit.
Yeah.
It seems to be an actual article. And I just think it's funny because why like I said, like 9-year-olds are in charge of goldfish. Goldfish don't live very long anyway, do they?
No.
There was a funny situation. Someone gave me a goldfish as a gift for some reason in college. Okay. And I went away on spring break.
Was it like a fraternity thing?
I don't remember the specifics of it, but I just got this goldfish, and so I was going to be gone for spring break for like 8 days.
Yeah.
So I gave it to my mother to took it home for my mom to take care of it. And I should have said mom and dad, but mom was going to take care of it. And so we used to have this range. The stove range, the ones that are flat, and then you just turn them on, and they just heat up, right?
Are they electric?
No, yeah, electric, right? Yeah. But not with the coils. It's just the actual surface itself heats up. So I give it to my mom, and mom sets it down, and then I go off or whatever. And so come to find out, mom had moved it onto this range and accidentally boiled the fish. Okay.
Oh.
So to her credit, she tried to fix it the way that parents always do with their 7-year-old kids, is go buy another goldfish. But the problem with her plan is I'm not 7, first of all. I was, whatever I was 19 years old.
You knew.
Yeah, well, number one, I knew. But number two, I wasn't that attached to the goldfish, so it would have been cool, even if my mom said I accidentally boiled your fish. And that in itself would have been a good story.
Is that in the mom's behaving badly category?
Yes. Yeah. Well, let's not get started on that's a large category. But that's, anyway. So I come back, and there's the bowl is there, and but the problem is that there's not a goldfish in there. My mom had bought a betta. Do you know what a betta fish is? It's not even the same species,
No.
So I was like, hey, the jig is up. This is obviously not my fish. What happened? And so, if Petco will sell goldfish to my mother, who will boil them accidentally on the range, they should be able to sell them to whoever wants to buy a goldfish. Yeah, well,
that's what it did. Yeah,
basically. Were you ever attached to it? We're off the rails here with this goldfish thing.
I know, and we're almost out of time. But I had fish as a kid, yeah, And aquarium fish live a long, long time.
Oh yeah, well you know what
But
else?
goldfish, you can't overfeed them. They will not explode, but they will.
They'll get
That's it. They just can't. Yeah.
Do you know what else before we take off for the weekend? Do you know what else lives a really long time? Birds. And some people buy birds and they don't know that. Like some of those
parrot. Yeah. Oh,
parrots
yeah.
and stuff that can live like 80 years, something like that.
My sister-in-law's got a parrot, and I can't stand it.
Well, you know what? It was a really exciting day about people behaving badly. Drivers out there, please try not to run red lights and T-bone people. Other drivers, please pause and look both ways again. And let's make sure that we're all able to buy goldfish whenever we want. What a great show, Mike.
Very good. This will be one for the books. Yeah.
You've been listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom, where law and culture meet.
Have a safe weekend, guys.